Hello, welcome back once again. Join you in going deep into the PowerPoint presentation. And here we're going to look into bulletin numbering, which are also one of the important things that we may want to add when it comes to our PowerPoint presentation. And I will also show you some other tricks upon you creating a new slide inside the PowerPoint presentation. There are a lot of things that you might add by default. So I will also show you what you can do with that. Now by default, whenever you open a PowerPoint presentation, whenever you start, clicking to add some text, it will have to bullet them by default. And there will be some instances where we may want, to remove the bulletin and also choose our own bullet. Like for example, if I navigate through where it is saying click to add text, so when I just click now, it will have to, when I add, maybe I want to add some items like maybe cassava. Alright, let's hit enter. Then maybe I will also want to add something like rice. Okay, let me add something like millet. Alright, so you will see through that, like by default everything will be in a bullet format. Let's try to add another one. Let me say I will have to add let's kind of add something like maybe mango. Alright, let's also add something like orange. Alright, so these are all, listen format that we may want to, add in our data. So maybe like I want to change maybe the bulletin by default, because they're right there in a default format of the bulletin. Let's say you don't want this kind of bulletin because to your eyes it is kind of, looking so much ugly. Now what you might want to do is also to choose your own bulletin. All you will have to do is to highlight the entire list of the item that you've already made. So once I highlight everything now, I will have to, shift on the paragraph group where we do have the bulletin and other stuff. So here if I hit on the the drop down button, I'll be able to choose any bulletin of my choice. Let's say I want this arrow bulletins. I want maybe we have also the check mark bulletin, or maybe I in fact want this kind of bulletin, that is the star bulletin. You can choose any of your choice. And this is what we do in changing the bulletin, the same as we do apply when it comes to the MS Word and also the the MS Word, and in fact the Microsoft Excel, where we do add bulletins in our application. So I hope that is more like understandable. Okay, now at some point in time also maybe you might want to add something like numbering. You don't want something like let's say this bulletin stuff and maybe other stuff. So let's say now I want it to be a numbering format. Maybe I will have to create some auto generate some listing. Maybe we want this time some other items other than just cassava, rice, millet, let's say mango. So here maybe I will have to write something like let's say bread. Alright, and another one, let's say water. Alright, let's say maybe something like what again? Let's say book. Alright, so I want now this listen to be in a form of numbering. So how am I going to do all these things? So just highlight the entire list that you've already created, then go to where we have the number ribbons here. That is, then you have to click on the drop down button, and here we have series of numbering effects. And now you might also choose the Roman figure or the ABC by default, or in for something that is kind of readable. And here you just have to hit on any of your choice. So this is how you do numbering, and also how you do listen. But guys, sometimes you might want this we seen here to be aligned, let's say left, or also to be aligned right. For example, how do I align my text is here? How do you in fact align your text inside the PowerPoint presentation? So now suppose I have highlighted the first listen that I have made. By default all of them will be aligned let's say left by default. So if you want to align this, let's say maybe right or middle or in fact center, all you may want to do is just to click and drag everything, then go to where we have align right. Then you will see to it that it will have to auto fill it to the right side. So depending on whatsoever requirement you might have, this is what you might also want to do, you understand. So this is also very very useful when it comes to us creating some other let's say PowerPoint presentation and other stuff. Also another thing is, not only we do have align left or align right, sometimes maybe you might want this to be aligned in the middle, so that is in the center. All you have to do is just to click and drag. Then maybe you want to choose the option of maybe highlight center, and this will have to shift it to the center. Or maybe you want to also indent it, then you might want to do stuff like this, or you have to indent it others to increase it on stuff. So these are all things that we also play around with when it comes to uh, indenting our texts inside the PowerPoint, aligning them, and also do a lot of things. Now, what will happen? Let me just kind of return this back to its normal. Let me just align it left again. Now, what will happen if, for example, you want the numbers to be on the right hand side? Let's say, for example, you want to fill up this space here, like you want two blocks. Maybe this is where you want the numbers to be, and this will be now the bulletin. Let's say we have here to be the bulletin, and also we have here to be the numbering. How are you going to do that, and how is it possible for you to do all those stuff? It is like very simple. All you have to do is to create columns within this write-up that we have here. So once you create a column, then it will have to divide it into two. So column here will basically, we have many options when it comes to column. You might create 3 columns, you might create 2 columns, maybe depending on the requirement. You might even define your own number of columns that you want this the entire space in here to have. So because now we are not utilizing this space here, we are not definitely utilizing this. So and now it's at least needs to be filled with a particular data, so we cannot just write the list in here so simple and stuff like that. So what I want to do here is to create a column of 2. So how do you create column of 2? All you want to do is just to highlight the entire text. Then I will have to highlight everything here. So once I highlight the entire text, now go to where we have this drop down button, and it is where we have columns. Here you can either add columns or you remove columns. Okay, now most of you here must have seen some pamphlets, whereas a page will be divided into 2 sections. We have the left section, also we have the right section. So this is where the editors of those books, and in fact the writers of those books, will have to visit when it comes to them wanting to divide the page into 2 and stuff like that. So with the MS Word, all these functions are there. So in the PowerPoint presentation also, it is very like possible. All you want to do is just to hit on the drop down button, and here we go. We have chances to maybe set this to 3 columns. Let's say 1 column. Right now by default it is 1 column. So if I want it to be 2 columns, I will have to choose 2 columns. I want it to be 3 columns, I will have to choose 3 columns. And now in here you might want to choose any of your choice. So here, if you want to choose 2 columns, you just have to hit on the 2 columns. Now how do I see this in active? For example, now suppose I want this bread, water, and book to be in the next section of the column. Then you just have to hit on the enter key, then hit on the enter key to give it space, and now here you go. You will see it that now we have here the bulletin, and also we have here the numbering, and this is what you might want to do. Okay, at any point in time also, maybe you might still want it to be, let's say, 3 columns. It is also very possible. But now we also have some other layers of the of the slides, where we can block them into 2 sections other than just creating them to be sections, and that is so very amazing in comparing 2 different things. So these are all stuff that we might want to do when it comes to the bulletin, also the numbering. And now another amazing stuff that I want to show you here, the same thing we do see in the MS Word, it is also very like possible when it comes to the application of PowerPoint. So here also, maybe you want to define your own bulletin style. Maybe you don't want to use the inbuilt bulletin, depending on whatsoever requirement you know best. Then here also is the best option for you. So maybe I want to change this bulletin style to be something else. All you might want to do is to highlight the entire bulletin, then go and visit that bulletin ribbons that you have, then click on the drop down button, and now I will have to go to bulletins and numbering, and here will have to give me new windows. And now I might define the bulletin, like I might change the color of the bulletin. Maybe I don't want it to be black, maybe I want it to be red. Then I will just have to hit on the OK key, then you will see that it will be automatically changed to red. Okay, let's say also I want to change the color again, maybe to any other requirement that I might want, then you free to do so. And now you can in fact increase the size of the text and stuff like that. So you might choose any color of your choice depending on the requirement. At the same time also, you might want to add pictures as your bulletin, and this is also very possible. You either search it online, or maybe from the icons, or maybe from a file. So if I want to choose it from a file, all you might want to do is it will have to automatically get you to the location of wheresoever you save the file. So I will have to hit on this logo key here, and then insert. Then you will see that it will have to automatically generate that picture bulletin for me. So this is so more like this more like amazing when it comes to this. Also, let's say I want to change the font style of this, that is the font color. Then let's move it to maybe something like this, and here we go. Let's also say you want to change also the font color, just control A to select everything, then change the font color to this. So these are all stuff